Now, what if I could give you some magic words that would help you succeed in any argument? Wouldn't that be nice? Well, let's first of all define what we mean by succeeding. It basically means coming out on top. It means persuading people towards your point of view. Okay, so let's give you those words, and here they are. You may be right. That's it. 4 simple words. You may be right. You can give variations on I agree with you, or I see it from your point of view, or I hadn't thought of that. Perhaps you may be right. What you're doing there is you're changing the dynamics of the argument, because when we're locked in a dispute, our defenses go up. We refuse to hear anything from the other person's point of view. We just say what we think with force, get it louder, and nobody's really engaging. And that is why arguments are so often counterproductive, self-destructive, and just get you nowhere. But the minute somebody concedes something, somebody gives ground, the other person simply drops their entire defenses and starts being willing to see things from the other person's point of view. So the trick is to be the first person to give a little ground, because that will make the other person want to recognize and reflect your generous offer with more concessions on their part. It's a very effective technique, and let's see how it works in the context of public speaking. So in the play Julius Caesar, the Shakespearean play, in this particular scene, this is from the movie of the scene with Marlon Brando as Mark Antony. Well, in this scene, Shakespeare has just been assassinated on the floor of the Senate. He was stabbed several times by his fellow senators, including Brutus. And the crowd at his funeral are pretty angry at Caesar because they saw him as a tyrant, which is what the other senators have kind of portrayed him as. Well, Mark Antony has to give a speech at his funeral, and he's determined to turn the view of the crowd in Caesar's favor. But he knows he can't just go in there immediately and start saying Caesar was great, Caesar was great, Caesar was great, because people aren't going to buy that. Their defenses are up. Their view is Caesar was a tyrant, and they're not going to listen. So what does Mark Antony do instead? Well, he uses the same principle of you may be right, only in kind of Shakespearean language. So the first thing he says, which you'll probably kind of know and remember, is friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears, which just means that basically listen up, listen up, listen up. Yeah, I'm not an actor. But the key is the next words he used, which is, I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. And what he basically says is, I'm not here to praise Caesar, kind of implying that I know he's a tyrant. I know you guys didn't like him. I know he's not a great guy, so I'm just here to bury him. I'm not here to praise him. I'm not really his friend. I'm on your side. And what that does is it lowers the defenses of the crowd. And then he proceeds masterfully to talk about all the great things Caesar had done. But he's not here to praise him. He's just giving you an honest account. And the people who did assassinate him, they are honorable men, of course. And he says it with some sarcasm. And as he keeps going through his speech steadily, the crowd start to see, actually, Caesar did do all these wonderful things. And yeah, these guys who were supposed to be honorable just killed a man who had done great things for this city. And he gradually turns them around. And then he finishes off by reading Caesar's will, where Caesar had left a whole load of money to the crowd, to the people. And they decided, right, that's it. We love Caesar and we're going to go and kill all the other senators. A really effective piece of rhetoric by Mark Antony under Shakespeare's guidance. And it's a really useful way of thinking about how we give our presentations and do our public speaking when we're trying to persuade other people. A very effective technique when we think those other people may disagree with us is to concede a little ground to what we know they are thinking. So it's kind of saying, listen, I understand. I'm on your side. I agree with you. You may be right. And then to proceed to tell them all the reasons why you're really right. And they will come round to your point of view. Pretty tricky, but it does work. Hey, if you like that one, I know you will love my webinar. It's called How to Become an Outstanding Public Speaker, even if you're not a natural performer. And without being overwhelmed by fear, click the link to register and I will see you there.